Hello again. Welcome to All Things Football. We've had a little bit of a break, but we are back and back to preview the big game or one of the big games of this weekend. It's Manchester United versus Newcastle United on Sunday. With me is Sal Ibrahim, the resident Man United fan. I think it's ideal time to preview this game as both teams are on form. So we're going to look at some key aspects of the game. We'll start off with
previous performance. I think we just going back to the Everton League game. Man United have really done superbly well in that game. I feel it was actually one of our most confident performances this season. We might have only won 2-1, but the way we dominated Everton through most parts of that game it's quite a huge positive for us. Besides the Iwobi goal that we conceded early on, the rest of the game was fairly plain sailing. Also, last night against Man Utd, whilst we did leave our shooting boots at home, there was a lot of positives. We played most of that game in Nicosia half, and we managed to get that goal at the end from an inspired substitution from Erik ten Hag, bringing on Scott McTominay, who unfortunately or fortunately for some Man United fans won't be playing this weekend.
Our previous performance was against Brentford, 5-1 win, and a very convincing performance from us, I must say. Probably our best performance of the season, given that we won 4-1 the previous week, but that was against 10 men. So I think if we look at it, our form has been quite good. We've put in a lot of good performances this season, and we perhaps weren't getting the results that we wanted. But the last two games, the convincing wins that we've got, I think that's definitely boosted the team and the confidence. And I think we are now more or less in a position where we feel that's where we should be after the performances we've given so far this season. When I look at that game, I think tactics were spot on. We put Brentford under a lot of pressure, and we actually scored 2 goals from scoring from mistakes in their final third. So I think that was really good to see. The tactics and the fitness levels of the Newcastle team, because in the 82nd minute, I think Almiron was still pressing the defender and he gave the ball away and we scored a simple goal from there. So I think the fitness levels and the tactics of Eddie Howe must be commended, and I think that was evident in our previous performance. So the key players for Newcastle, I think I'm going to name 2 players who I feel are key players if we are to get a result at Old Trafford. Firstly, Bruno Guimaraes has been amazing, and his form has been superb since he's been back in the team. He's been instrumental in whatever we do that's been good. It's come through him, be it assisting goals in the build-up, or scoring himself. He scored 2 at the weekend, and the second was a fantastic goal in that it was he won the ball, pressured the defender, won the ball, ran with the ball and scored, took the shot and scored. So I think he's going to be key. If he plays well, Newcastle generally play well. So if he does well, we then stand a chance. And then the other key player that I would like to mention, I think, is going to be Kellen Wilson. Newcastle have always done fairly well in terms of creating chances or doing well in the build-up, but then they don't always have a finisher. And there were times last season where we struggled because Wilson was out injured. But I think the key for us this game is Alexander Isak is coming back from injury and might be on the bench. But Kellen Wilson, if he plays well and if he gets 1 or 2 chances, he might bury them. And I think that would be important, because at Old Trafford, you're not going to get that many chances. So if you're going to get chances, you're going to need your striker to put them away. So I think Kellen Wilson will be key as well.
So key players for Man United, and one that I have to mention that we will need at top form to actually stop one of your key men on our side is Lisandro Martinez. I feel he's just put a surety back in our defence. And if you saw last night, most of the game that we played against Nicosia, he pushed that whole back line up, and we basically control the game from back to front. So Martinez, I'm going to name another 2. I think Marcus Rashford is going to be a key player. I feel that his form is really coming to the fore now, and he's one of those players that's not, he hasn't, I mean, last season was a really poor season for him, but I feel this season he's really shining, and Erik ten Hag seems to be getting the best out of him. And of course, the new man, I have to mention him, is Antony. He has just been phenomenal. I watched him last night, and as well against Everton. He scored that goal against Everton. He just seems to be a very confident player, and that confidence just exudes. And you know, the other players around him, or they gain from. I feel that Antony is going to be a key man as well tomorrow. So let's hope. Well, on Sunday. So I'm hoping that Rashford and Antony can get the goals and can keep a clean sheet for us.
We will be won and lost. I think most football games is won and lost in the midfield. I think that's going to be no different in this game, where both teams are fairly strong in terms of the midfield and the attack. And if those guys can get, win the battle for their team, it then bodes well for the rest of the team. So I feel that the key battle will be between, if Newcastle do bring back Joe Linton for his muscle and his work rate, then I think Casemiro versus Joe Linton, that both are strong men, and if they can get the better of the opponent, I think that will then rub off on the other players who are probably more flair players in terms of Bruno and Eriksen for Man United. So if they can win their battle, it will then make sure that the team gets on the front foot, and both teams have attackers who can really hurt opposition. So I think the key battle will be the three midfielders of Newcastle versus the three midfielders of Man United. And I think whoever wins that will go a long way to winning the match for their team.
Yeah, in terms of the game being won and lost, I agree with you. We've seen Newcastle, it's going to be down to the midfield. Newcastle do have a high tempo and a good work rate in midfield, and I think generally Man United struggle against those type of teams. Even though we are playing at home, you'll notice that we often end up playing a counter-attacking game, and we seem to just give up that kind of battle in midfield. It's probably due to Erik ten Hag going with Eriksen in midfield. I don't have a problem with that because he's got his other positive qualities, but he's usually not up to the pace of the opponents that we come up against. And then also, I feel Casemiro deserves a start. Last night he done fairly well. And yeah, I mean, it's a 60+ million signing, so he should be playing for Man United. He should be starting. So I definitely want to see Casemiro get a start. But yeah, the midfield battle will definitely dictate the flow of the game on Sunday.
Prediction time. For me, I hate this part because I tend to get my predictions wrong. I think, given the fact that Newcastle have only won once in their history at Old Trafford, in the Premier League era, that is, I don't see things, changing anytime soon. In terms of, we might put up a good performance, and we have in recent years, but then it's always been for 40, 50, 60, 70 minutes. But then we in our 20-minute spell we lose the game. It happened last season where I think it was 1-1 at the stage, and we then lost the game 4-1. So I'm going to go 3-2 for Man United. I think it's going to be open in that both teams attack with vigor, but I think both teams will also concede. So I'm going 3-2 Man United, although I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, in terms of predictions, I also hate doing this part because I don't want to jinx my team. But we do have a game in hand on Newcastle, so it's slightly less pressure, and we are 1 point above you guys. But I think we should have enough quality to see us get a win on Sunday, and then we have a couple of difficult matches after that. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to grab maximum points.
Thank you, Sal, for the predictions and for your preview from a Man United perspective. I've tried to give as best and neutral Newcastle perspective as well, but if you are watching, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, share it with your friends and family, and especially your football friends, and look forward to having more previews and episodes and interviews in the near future. With the World Cup coming up, look out for some content coming your way as well. So Sal, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Cool. Cheers, man.